Aloha team. I am here with the one, the only Joe Extra Ordinario.
Bam, 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 bam. What's up, everybody?
And Joe, I think we have some big news that you have to announce.
Yes. We are so excited to announce the O-Team joining loanDepot Hawaii Ohana. Super excited to join Chris, the entire team here. This is a one-stop shop. This is an elevated experience. This is love for our clients, and honestly, it's the brand just like the O-Team. So we're happy to be here. Thank you.
That's an amazing sentiment. I appreciate that, Joe. And I'm going to ask the personal question. Why did you choose us over all the other lenders that are available in this island, this country? Yeah. Why did you choose us?
Great question. So, it is about providing the customer service for our clients. That's number one. When we met with you, met the team, it was that elevated experience. It was the customer care. It was the professionalism. It was, it's the things that you can't teach other professionals in our industry. And right away, Rolando and I knew that we had to be a part of it. And so we're excited to really provide a different, better, caring, professional experience for our clients. And we love you guys. We're cool, we're chill, we're real people, believe it or not. Yes, we get stuff done, and this is, I feel like, a partnership that was waiting to happen, so we're happy to be here, man.
Thank you so much, Joe. And obviously, the feelings, the sentiment, all that energy reciprocates on our end, too. We don't want to work with anyone that isn't matching our energy, that isn't matching that intent, that intentional service-oriented service that is just absolutely fantastic. Love that. That's some big news.
Yeah.
I think we have some, if not bigger news, just as big news to help out a lot of our very important clients and future clients. And it's, to me, a very near and dear client. It's a culture. It's an organization. It's a brotherhood, sisterhood, family that I've been a part of for 14 years, and that's the military. Active duty service members and veterans alike. I think we got some big news for them.
Oh, yeah. The big news is we are going to be co-hosting together, you and I, the VA home buying seminar for all of our service people here on island. So we've got a couple awesome dates coming up, and I'm sure we'll put it in the description or some posts. The most important thing that our service members need to know is that they're getting a lot of value. The feedback that we get from our clients when using their VA home loan, attending these seminars, is that they literally learn things that they've never known before. And I love that because they get to meet you and they get to learn what their budget is. They get to learn all the logistical things that, let's be honest, is the first step before looking at a home. And then they also get to meet me, and they get to see the systems and processes and models that we provide our clients so that they know they're being taken care of. We have their well-being in mind, their best interest in mind, and it's just a 2-for-1, a BOGO, if you may.
And I think it's a fantastic way to, right up front, show the team that they're working with.
Oh, yeah.
That amazing team aspect. These amazing service members, men and women across this great nation, have come to this beautiful island of Hawaii to continue to serve or finish up their service or whatever have you, whatever their situation may be. And they've always been a team aspect. And to meet another team that's going to serve them because of the service they provided for this country, I think that's an amazing value in itself as well.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to get to some questions because I believe, and also from the feedback from clients who've gotten value from this type of event, the VA Homebuyer webinar, I know people are going to have questions. May I share just something a little personal?
Please.
Okay, so I like to let our clients know, and if anybody's watching this or hearing this, I may not have ever served in the military. My dad was in the military, my uncle was in the military, my stepdad in the military. So I got to experience the military experience, seeing my mom go through it, moving around, PCSing to different bases, how the culture within the community of military families and the actual concerns and how that affects the household. So that's why the VA Home Buyer webinar and serving our clients here on island is so important, because we get a first-hand opportunity to be able to take care of them from the beginning. And that's what really excites us about having an event like this, partnering with you, and really serving our clients. So with that said, I want to get into some questions that I feel like I get asked often. And yes, I may know some of the general answers, and yet people know I will always default to you, the expert, when it comes to these VA home loan questions. May I jump into them?
Please.
And can we just do a little quick pop quiz situation?
Of course. Let's go. Rapid fire.
Yeah, so a fun one that I always get is, can I use my VA loan more than once?
The answer is yes. Several different options you have. So with the VA, you have this thing called entitlement. Every county that you may move to or live in has a different county limit. All right. Here in Hawaii, we have the highest, which is currently $1,089,300.
Jeez. Wow.
That's the county conforming limit. If it's the first time you're using the VA home loan, there is no limit. So if you have full entitlement, there's no limit to it, as long as you can afford the mortgage. Now, back to your question about can I use it twice? Yes. I'll give you a great example. A service member buys a home using their VA home loan benefit in Texas. Average home price in Texas, $200,000, $300,000. Let's just say $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Bought it there in Texas, PCS 2 years later. They still have that. They're leasing it out, building generational wealth, making passive income, doing great stuff. Flies over to Hawaii, their next duty station. They have a ton of entitlement left over that they can use to purchase a new home. And that right there is how to continually use your VA home loan benefit. There's another way to free up it entirely by either selling your home or refinancing to a conventional loan. And we can get into that in the seminar, in the webinar, or one-on-one.
I love that you answered that, because literally sometimes we talk to people and they'd rather rent than use their VA loan because they think they can only use it once, and they know they're only going to live here for 2, 3, or 4 years. And that fear right away is like, no, I don't want to do it. They're going to learn at this VA seminar. They're going to learn at this VA seminar with you, with me, how they can use it more than once, just like you shared. So another question I get is, who is eligible to use their VA home loan?
Great question, Joe. In terms of eligibility, so the magic rule is about 90 active duty days. Now, there's a lot of gray area. Like there's some service members that are literally graduating from advanced individual training, and they haven't hit that 90-day threshold. Their gaining unit can write them up a statement of service saying that, hey, they'll most likely be here on island and be in good standing for the next 4 years, or however long is necessary for the underwriter to approve it, and they can receive their VA home loan benefit.
Wow.
Eligibility is determined through the Department of Veterans Affairs, through something called a COE, or a certificate of eligibility. I can get that for you really easily, and if not, I can find a way to get it for you. If you're serving or just started serving, it's easy to get.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, it's going back to adding value to these service members who are going to be using these VA home loans, and it's just going to be amazing for them. Another question people like to ask is, what do they have to pay when using their VA home loan?
Excellent. So why is a VA home loan? I'm going to answer your question with a question. Why?
Go ahead.
Why is
Yes.
why is a VA home loan better than a conventional loan, a USDA loan, FHA loan, all these other different residential home loans? Well, one big one is a VA home loan doesn't require a down payment.
Yep.
So typically, a normal conventional loan requires 25% down. Most of us don't have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in the bank account ready to drop to buy a home. Well, here, as a VA home loan expert, you can use your VA entitlement and buy a home and only pay something called a VA funding fee and closing costs. So a VA funding fee is essentially an insurance by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and for the first time use, it's only 2.3%, and it can be financed into the loan. So
Wow.
you can even have the seller pay for your funding fee. Definitely different options and benefits out there for using the VA home loan benefit. And also on top of that, it's one of those things where you have such great leverage because that money is guaranteed because of the service that you provided.
It really does take care of these families that are utilizing their VA home loan. Like, it is just a no-brainer, especially the no down payment situation. A lot of people always ask also, like, because you threw out a lot of numbers, right? And there might be people listening who are number people like you. And I also appreciate numbers, and yet sometimes when I hear so many numbers, I'm like, what's the bottom line? So I get it often with our service members. How much does the VA loan actually cover? How much is it covering? Do they have to worry about anything? What should they know?
Great question. So with first time use VA entitlement, the funding fee that is associated with it is only 2.3%, and that can be financed into the loan. I said before there's no down payment. Well, so I can buy a house with no money? Not true. You obviously have to have income. You have to have some type of assets to cover something called closing costs. However, like in the market we're in right now, you can have the seller pay for your closing costs. And also on top of that, closing costs really kind of equate out to what you would pay for first and last month's rent anyway, especially here in Hawaii. So all these like great value things with the VA home loan, not having to pay a down payment, having your VA funding fee financed. There's even, like for our service members that have served honorably and have been injured in combat, if you have a Purple Heart or if you have a disability rating, if you're out of service or had a break in service and you have a VA disability rating, you don't have to pay any VA funding fee, which is huge.
I feel like we're really laying down a strong foundation for helping our service members utilize their VA home loan. It's really creating a comfortable space to where they're really being empowered to know the numbers, work with you, work with us so they know what the next steps are. May I ask a very foundational question?
Sure.
Because we're throwing out words like VA home loan, pre-approval, talking about real estate. Some people don't even know. When they reach out to me, they're like, I'm looking for a home. And then I tell them the first step is getting pre-approved with Chris, with loanDepot Hawaii. And they go, what is a pre-approval, bro? Please, the mic is yours.
Pre-approval is absolutely essential for you to do your job and provide service for our client, for our service member. This pre-approval is essentially a financial picture of the family or the service member or the client that we're serving. This financial picture is essentially their assets, their income, their liabilities, and then their creditworthiness. These 4 factors make up your pre-approval. Now, why does this matter? Well, your income is based upon how much gross monthly income you make every month. I'm able to identify through either salary or special pay for service members. Active duty service members, they make something called cost of living adjustment. They make basic allowance for sustenance. They make basic allowance for housing. They make a lot of extra pay that is not taxed And it's an amazing, amazing form of income that can be grossed up and then utilized to make sure that they get the best bang for their buck in terms of income. Assets are what's in the bank, what's in your personal accounts, your investment accounts, your 401ks, your Roth IRAs, your TSPs, all these different acronyms for what's liquid money that's currently at your disposal. This is used for things like a down payment if you wanted to put a down payment down. It's only going to the equity of your home.
True.
It's like a savings plan. It's like a forced savings plan, right? You're literally putting money into the walls of your home.
Yeah.
Or it's used for paying off closing costs, and it's to show, and especially in the first part of the purchase contract, earnest money deposits showing, hey, the good faith deposit down. It's like, hey, I'm going to make sure that this deal closes. Your credit worthiness is extremely important because when you take out a home loan, you're borrowing money. You're borrowing a large sum of money.
Oh, yeah.
And then that credit worthiness is really a risk adverse number that says you will most likely pay this back, or there's a high risk that you won't pay this back. And us as lenders need to be able to mitigate and identify that risk. And then, of course, your liabilities. So you may make $10,000 a month. Well, if you have an $800 car payment, if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of the student loans, if you have a personal line of credit out, if you have child support, alimony, all these things that you pay monthly, then that $10,000 is not really $10,000 a month. It's whatever that minus your liabilities are. And that's your really adjusted income.
Yeah.
And then we're allowed as lenders to adjust what your mortgage can be with that income.
Oh, yeah.
There's rules and stipulations to how much money a borrower can borrow because we want you to be able to pay this back.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want you to be living off ramen noodles for the 3 years you're
I love ramen noodles, but it's not a diet to live off of, for
exactly.
the record.
Not for a whole family living in Hawaii. But
no.
Yeah, but definitely this is to make sure and to ensure that your investment is a good one, and then you're also not paying well over what you can afford.
Yeah.
Which is very important.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody is hearing and seeing all the value that you've shared, because I always let our clients know, even my friends who are starting the process, I'm like, no, there's a difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. And Chris and his team will take care of the pre-approval. Just right there, you listed some of the most important things that a client, a future home buyer, needs to know when using their VA home loan. And what I love about you and loanDepot Hawaii is that you guys make sure all the documents are lined up. You've gotten everything, because we're not going to be working together with a client and we're hoping they can afford the house. They've gotten pre-approved with you. All the documents have been submitted. They are fully pre-approved. Then it builds that confidence to actually know what their budget is. Now we're looking at properties together that actually fit within their monthly budget. And because they took those very important steps in the beginning with you, now we can look at homes, and that's where that team acts at. That team dynamic really works for them. Oh, so, yeah. I know that you and I can nerd out about all things loan and real estate, and really that's why they're going to meet us in person. They're going to be able to ask questions in person, because I'm sure you'd agree, there's so many unique situations and unique questions people have that only they'd be able to ask you, and you'd be able to provide those answers,
1,000%, Joe. So my goal is to let people understand that the value of their mortgage, their home loan, their VA benefit, whatever it may be, that they're receiving the best value out of it. It is and I am 100%, I acknowledge the fact that it is anxiety driven to talk about finances, to talk about your income, to do all these things. But once I'm there to tear down the walls and then help you figure out what you can afford. You would never go to the mall without knowing how much money's in your bank account.
Oh gosh,
And
absolutely.
Then, yeah, you never go shopping, house shopping, without knowing what you can be pre-approved for.
You wouldn't go out and eat if you didn't know what your budget was.
Yeah.
And with something as huge of a purchase as this, they really, really got to prepare themselves and work with you. So may I share something that I've heard from so many people? And I feel like we should dispel this myth now, right here, right now with you. So I get it all the time. Interest rates are high. I'm not buying. I'm going to wait. And they think word is bond. That's it. If they look up an interest rate and they hear, because the news, social media, their friends, their dad, their whomever is telling them interest rates are high, you should wait. And then they miss out on an opportunity or don't even think about deserving of wealth building, legacy building, or buying a home. What would you say to that? The interest rates are too high. I'm going to wait, Chris.
I think my favorite analogy for that is analysis and paralysis. So when you analyze something as something that you can't control, like interest rates, and you get paralyzed by the idea of it and not willing to pull the trigger or make action because you're so, not terrified, but you just don't know what's on the other side. So you just go with what you're used to, renting out, taking your whole paycheck and giving it to someone else and helping them pay off their mortgage. The VA has products embedded into its own product to help service members reduce that overwhelming sense, like, did I make a good deal even though interest rates are high? And you know better than anyone, over the past 30 years, like, interest rates have not peaked by any means. Over the past 10 years, interest rates have not peaked. Mm-hmm. So historically, it's not like high, but compared to 2020, 2021, yes, they are high compared to record low interest rates in the history of mortgages and the history of home buying. Yes, they are high compared to those.
People need to know that.
Yes.
Because I get to hang out and speak with seasoned realtors who've been in the business 30 plus years, and they truly share, like, these interest rates, you guys need to sit down. All right. I was selling homes at 13% interest rates, 17% interest rates. Imagine. And I hope people watching this and hearing this, their minds are like, wait, what? So that they hear that there is still an opportunity. And what I'm hearing you also share is that there's different programs, packages, workarounds. And one of the things I love about you and your team is you think outside the box. So it's not some cookie cutter formula, and if it works with somebody, it's going to work with them, or it doesn't work, then it doesn't work with somebody else. You really take a look and you go, all right, the good news is you can, you're eligible for this program or this system or something like that. And it's really exciting because buyers are no longer limited to whatever interest rates they think they're receiving or their friend received. There's a lot of out-of-the-box ways to really get them their home, right?
Oh, yeah. And then, like, straight off the cuff, like, if you're worried about interest rates, we can do permanent buy-downs, having the seller pay for your rate to be bought down to a more acceptable rate. That's easy. That's cut and dry, plain as day. You can do things even bigger and have the seller pay for something called temporary buy-downs. For the first year of your mortgage, it could be 2% lower than what you locked in at.
Ooh.
And the second year, be 1% lower than what you locked in at, with the intent that you're probably going to refinance. And this is a great, great product. Everyone's kind of scared of the refinance. Well, if I put zero down on a home, how can I refinance? I'll need 20% equity to make that happen, 25% equity to make that happen. Not with the VA. The VA has a product called the VA IRRL, or IRRRL. The Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan, the VA IRRL. This great product, as long as there is a interest rate out there in the near future, 6 months or more, in the near future that is lower than your current interest rate, you can refinance to a lower interest rate.
That's a great program.
Yes. And then the cost for it is built in to that program. Because once you refinance to a new loan, you are literally skipping mortgage payments, and as if you're paying your normal mortgage, but then, hey, what, 2 months later, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars cheaper than what you were originally paying for. So have the market work for you. And by the way, if you buy now, all those months that you're paying a mortgage, that is literally putting money back into the walls of your home. You're getting money put back into that forced savings plan.
Literally.
Into your home, into the investment that you're making. Whereas if you're renting, you're literally just writing a check and giving it to someone.
Yeah.
Rent is not charity. It is nothing to be proud about.
Yeah.
But with a home, every time you pay your mortgage, you're literally putting money back into the walls of your home.
Oh, yeah. And listen, what we want to make clear is that there's no judgment here. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And, hey, when you either get out of high school or get out of college or get in the military, the first thing you do, because everyone you know, friends, family, coworkers, rents. No one talks about wealth building. Nobody talks about legacy building. Nobody talks about equity. And that's not to anybody's fault. And yet, it would really be advantageous to whomever's listening to this who wants to pull the trigger and even asks questions. Stop by the VA Homebuyer webinar. Meet Chris, meet me, meet the team. We'll most likely have refreshments and snacks. That's always good, free food. And value information and actual actionable items that people can implement depending, and it doesn't matter if it's dependent on purchasing a home 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I know there's a lot of people listening to this who may not be VA, and we got love for everybody. So if I have a cousin, Chris, who wants to connect with you and they don't have a VA loan, they've never been in the military, they're not in the military now, they want to get pre-approved, can they work with you?
100%, Joe. And then same exact way as I talked about it earlier, finding out that financial picture, income, assets, creditworthiness, and liabilities. Once I understand what that picture is, it determines their buying power. There's special things with the VA, but there are special things with conventional loans out there right now. There are special things out there with USDA. And once again, I don't discriminate, but you kind of have a soft spot for the people that you serve with.
Of course.
And then that lifestyle that you were a part of, and it's great to continue to serve, and it's great to give back.
Oh, yeah. We are looking forward to meeting everyone and anyone who's going to be at any of our VA Homebuyer webinars, our first-time homebuyer webinars, seminars. And to be clear, these are face-to-face, in-house events here, and we're excited to meet everybody and add value to them.
I am super excited to be able to present and then show the face of this great team with Joe, with Rolando, with the entire O-Team, just because we are there to represent you. We are there to fight on your behalf. We're there to ensure that you get the best value for your well-earned service and your money.
Yep. So however way you're seeing this video, leave a comment, send us a DM. We're happy to meet you, add value, talk to you, and get you in your new home today.
Law.